Hey everybody, this is Kristin Coaching, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, the purpose of this video is we're going to be talking about the impacts of the silent treatment on your relationship. And not many people know this, but the silent treatment can and usually is a form of emotional abuse in a relationship. I have another video that talks about the warning signs of emotional abuse, and I really encourage you to look at that. I don't mention the silent treatment in that video because I wanted to spend a lot of time on this specific sign because it's so primitive and important in relationships because it happens to so many people. It's usually like a very strong go-to action in relationships, and a lot of people and couples are impacted by the silent treatment. So please look at my other video to get more signs, but this one we're going to talk about silent treatment specifically and what that does for you guys in your relationship. Now, I want to start by saying, after an argument or after like an intense conversation, it is common to take some cooling off space, and that is normal and that is healthy to do. And so I think a lot of people really struggle with, okay, what is a normal amount of cooling off time versus a prolonged silent treatment, right? And I think the big difference to be able to determine if I'm getting the silent treatment or if I'm getting just some cooling off time that my partner's doing is the impact that it's having on you. You know when the space and the not talking becomes so long that it starts to be hurtful. And that's usually what the silent treatment is. When you start to get hurt by what your spouse or your significant other is doing because you know that they're not talking to you for a prolonged amount of time, well, then that's the silent treatment, and that is what emotional abuse is. We have to allow our partners to have some time, a little bit of time to cool down, whether that's a half hour, an hour, maybe even a couple hours. I don't like to put times on it, but I'm kind of giving you a general consensus of what I would view to be a healthy, normal amount of time to take some space to cool off and then re-engage afterwards. The silent treatment is usually prolonged. It's hours of not talking. It's sometimes days without talking. It could be even a week or two even. So that's when it becomes unhealthy. And it's important to understand that when the silent treatment is happening for a prolonged amount of time, the impact that it has on you and your relationship can be really, really detrimental. So I wanted to bring light to that, okay? And so basically, when people stop talking to their significant other because they're upset, and after you've had an argument, it can become emotionally abusive and it can become damaging. So I think when that happens, I have some steps on what is healthy to do when your partner is doing the silent treatment to you. First and foremost, we have to label the action. We have to let our other half know that what they're doing, okay? We have to label it because we can't let that go unignored. Again, when emotional abuse is occurring, we can't just kind of lie down and be the victim and just allow our partners to treat us that way. We have to set the boundary. We have to stand up for ourselves and say, no, this is not okay. So the first thing to do when you're dealing with the silent treatment is to label the action. Say something like, hey, I see that you're not talking to me, and I want to let you know that I'm ready to talk to you when you're ready to engage. So it's really just like, it's not a stirring of the pot, it's a labeling of an emotion and being open to receiving the conversation. Just letting them know that you know what's going on. And then the second thing that you can do is label the impact it's having. So once you say, hey, I see you're not talking to me, I'm ready to talk when you're ready. Seeing if that helps. If your partner does not engage after that point, then I think the most important thing to do would be to explain the impact that the silent treatment has on you. Express to your other half that you are hurt by the fact that they are ignoring you, purposely ignoring you, and it's causing pain and it's causing sadness and it's causing heartache, and you really want to have a dialogue with them to resolve it because this isn't going to be solving anything long term. So the second step is to show the impact. It's to hopefully have your other half understand that their actions are affecting you in a negative way. Now, a lot of times with the silent treatment, they are trying, a lot of times your other half can be trying to get you to feel bad and upset just like they are. So sometimes labeling that emotion could just be a validation of like, yes, I'm, I want my partner to feel this way. But sometimes your partner does not know how it's impacting you. And it's just important for yourself to verbally stand up for yourself and express your emotions and model what it's like to have a healthy, authentic dialogue of how their actions are affecting you. So labeling the impact is really, really important. And then the third step is be open to conversation. If they're still not talking to you, you can say something like, I very much would like to have a conversation with you. I'm very hurt by what's going on here. We haven't been talking for days or hours or whatever, and I really want to resolve this. And I would hope that you are willing to re-engage with me and let's talk about it. So it's really just having that like, hey, I want to talk. I'm ready. I need you to talk with me right now. I need to resolve this issue. So it's letting them know that you want to have a conversation, that you're ready for it, and hoping that they will be as well. Even if they're not ready for it, hopefully your other half will have enough empathy and compassion to be able to move out of the space that they're in and be able to be like, okay, I'm really, really pissed off at you, and finally give in and have the dialogue. But it's really not the whole purpose of the silent treatment and trying to label it and hopefully have it come to an end is it gives you the power back. It gives you the power back to say like, okay, I'm not going to just let my other half dictate when he or she is going to re-engage and talk to me. Like, I'm a person in this relationship too, so I'm letting them know that I'm ready and I'm affected by it, and let's do this. So it gives that sense of empowerment back to you. And then the last thing to do is hopefully when your partner does re-engage with you, because he or she will at some point, have the conversation, get that re-engagement going. But at the end, I think it's 100% important to ask for an apology from your significant other of how the fact that they haven't talked to you for however long it was hurt you. And getting an apology from your significant other is really a way for them to take ownership of how their actions negatively impacted you and impacted the relationship. Because I think a lot of times couples can kind of move on without talking about what the silent treatment did to them, and that can harbor a lot of anger and resentment and anxiety. So it's important that your partner does apologize for that, because he or she should know, A, what it does to you because you were able to verbalize that, and B, be able to express a sincere apology for that. Because if you're in a healthy relationship, your partner long term does not want to make you hurt. And if you are hurt from that, then your partner should be able to apologize. That's really, really important. We all in relationships have to take ownership of what we do wrong or what we could do better and acknowledge that. And tell our other halves that we are sorry and we're going to do better next time. And if you're not getting that from your significant other, well, that is a huge red flag that something is wrong. And I really suggest that if your partner is not coming to that point of re-engagement after you try all these steps, then I really want you to take a look at my other video on the other warning signs for emotional abuse and just see if those also ring a bell in your relationship. It's just important to be aware and analyze your current situation so you can be empowered and make the best decisions for yourselves. Okay, that's what I want. I want you all to have a happy, healthy relationship. And in order to do that, we have to have that self-reflection and that self-analysis of what's going on in my relationship and figure out how to move forward from there. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. Please feel free to comment below and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And please subscribe to my YouTube page for more helpful videos on how to have a happy and healthy relationship. Take care. Bye.